I used to think my grocery bill was just life. Then I noticed one healthy item I was buying that cost way more than it should. Today I'll show you 12 grocery traps, and the last one is the sneakiest. Quick safety note before we start. I'm not a doctor or a dietitian, and this is not medical advice. I'm talking about everyday shopping choices that may help you spend less and waste less. And when health comes up, it's always worth checking in with your clinician. Alright, context first, because this matters. A lot of families feel like the money just disappears at the grocery store, and it's not only prices, it's waste. USDA has long quoted about $1,500 a year of uneaten food for a family of 4, and EPA has put newer estimates higher, closer to $2,900, depending on how it's calculated. Either way, it's real money, not spare change. Here's the uncomfortable part. Most of that loss isn't from buying bad food, it's from buying convenience, packaging, and little upgrades that feel harmless in the moment. So while I walk through these 12 items, I want you to listen for one pattern. One question that knocks the price tag back down to reality. I'll give you that question in a bit, because once it clicks, you start seeing the store differently. First one, pre-cut fruits and vegetables. I get it, you're tired. You want the watermelon already chopped. You want the onions already diced. You want the salad already washed and ready. But this is one of the cleanest examples of the convenience tax. I've seen it with my own eyes. A whole melon is one price, and the chopped version right beside it is suddenly almost double. What you're paying for isn't the fruit. You're paying for labor, packaging, and the fact that it's now a grab-and-go item. There's another problem nobody talks about much. Once produce is cut, it usually dries out faster, it can spoil faster, and it can be easier to forget in the fridge. So, you can end up paying more and wasting more. If you want an easy switch, here are 2 options that actually feel doable. Option 1, pick one day and give yourself 15 or 20 minutes to prep. Put on a show, cut what you'll actually use, and store it in clear containers so you see it. Option 2, frozen. Frozen fruits and vegetables are often picked at peak ripeness and flash frozen. They're not perfect for everything, but for smoothies, stir-fries, soups, and quick sides, they can save money and reduce waste. And the next one is where it gets a little weird, because you're not just paying more, you may be buying a problem. Second, bottled water. Let me say this carefully. I'm not here to scare you, I'm here to help you make a smarter trade. A 2024 study from researchers at Columbia and Rutgers used newer methods and found bottled water can contain a very large number of tiny plastic particles, including nanoplastics. Now, research in this area is evolving, and some findings about microplastics in the human body have been debated by scientists. So I'm not going to make dramatic claims about what it definitely does. What I will say is this. If you can reduce exposure and save money at the same time, that's a win. Because bottled water is expensive for what it is. Many brands are essentially treated water sold at a huge markup. In some cases, it can be municipal water that's been filtered and bottled. The practical fix is simple. If your tap water is safe and you like the taste with a filter, a decent filter and a reusable bottle can pay for themselves quickly. If you're unsure about your local water quality, you can look up your city's water report, or ask your clinician what's reasonable for you. Now, the next one is sneaky, because it doesn't feel like a money trap, it feels like a cozy treat. Third, bakery items you accidentally grab. You ever walk past the bakery, and suddenly you want a cookie you didn't plan on buying? That's not just you being weak. Stores know scent influences buying. Retail scent marketing is a real thing, and there are reports and studies suggesting that bakery aromas can lift bakery sales significantly in some situations. So the trick here isn't never buy the muffin. The trick is not letting the muffin buy you. 2 moves that help. 1, don't shop hungry. It sounds obvious, but it works. 2, if you do want a treat, check the markdown section or the day-old area first. A lot of stores discount those items hard, and half the time they're still totally fine. Because once you see how often impulse is engineered, you start asking, where else is this happening? Fourth, name brand spices in tiny bottles. This one annoys me because it's so quiet. A little bottle of oregano or garlic powder can cost a few bucks, and it feels small so it feels harmless. But per ounce, spices can be some of the priciest stuff in the whole store, and a lot of those little bottles sit around for a long time, which means you can end up with weak flavor and stale aroma. Here's what I do now. If I can, I buy spices at a store where they move fast. That can be a bulk section, an international market, or sometimes even a warehouse store. I also buy smaller amounts more often, instead of hoarding a spice rack full of dusty bottles I'll never finish. And if you really want to level up, whole spices often keep their flavor longer. You don't need to be fancy. Even a simple grinder can make a big difference. Now, this next one is where people get emotionally attached, because it feels like you're doing something right. Fifth, organic everything. I'm going to be balanced here. Organic can be a good choice for many people. It can reduce exposure to certain pesticides, and it may matter more for some fruits and vegetables than others. But buying organic across the board can also blow up your budget fast. One approach people use is leaning on the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 lists from EWG, which are based on USDA testing data. The idea is simple. If money's tight, prioritize organic for the produce that tends to have more residue, and worry less about organic for produce that tends to have less. Not everyone agrees with EWG's framing, and pesticides are complicated, so I don't want you to panic. The bigger health picture is still eating fruits and vegetables, period. So here's the practical version. Wash your produce. Buy organic when it makes sense for your budget, and focus on consistency, not perfection. Because the store loves when you chase perfection. It's expensive. And speaking of expensive perfection, sixth, single-serve snack packs. You know the little bags, the just the right portion chips, the mini cookies, the tiny crackers. They're convenient, sure, but you're paying for someone to separate food into smaller bags, and you're paying for extra packaging, a simple rule that almost always holds. The smaller the package, the higher the cost per ounce. If you're packing lunches or snacks, the cheaper move is boring but powerful. Buy the big bag, then portion it yourself into reusable containers. Even if you only do it once or twice a week, it adds up. And it's not only money, it's also the clutter of wrappers. A kitchen trash can full of tiny bags is basically your grocery budget waving goodbye. Now we're going to the meat department, and this is where the store makes easy look irresistible. Seventh, pre-marinated meat. The glossy teriyaki chicken, the honey garlic, the ready-to-cook steak tips. They look like dinner solved, but usually you're paying a premium for sauce and salt. And here's where I'll keep it grounded. Not every pre-marinated item is a disaster, but many are significantly higher in sodium. And for a lot of adults, sodium is already something we get too much of. CDC guidance points to keeping sodium under 2,300 milligrams a day for most adults, and many people regularly go over that. So if you're watching blood pressure, or you're just trying to keep your food simpler, this one matters. The money fix is easy. Make a basic marinade at home. Oil, something acidic like lemon or vinegar, garlic, pepper, herbs. If you use soy sauce, go lighter and taste as you go. You don't need chef skills. You need a bowl and 5 minutes. Plus, you control what's in it. Now, the next one gets me because the packaging practically glows with virtue. Eighth, superfoods in tiny premium bags. Goji berries, maca powder, ancient seeds with a mystical name. All sold in tiny pouches that cost more than they should. Here's the truth. The word superfood isn't a regulated scientific category, it's marketing. Sometimes the food is perfectly fine, but the price is doing most of the talking. If you like goji berries, great, eat them. But you don't need $15 dust in a pouch to eat. Well, most of the real nutritional heavy hitters are normal foods. Beans, oats, eggs, yogurt, frozen berries, leafy greens, nuts, olive oil, canned fish. The sexy stuff that people have been eating for generations. So if you want to be smart, buy the everyday foods first. Then, if you still want the fancy powder, at least you're doing it from a stable base and not from a guilt place. Because guilt is expensive. Now, I promised you the pattern. Here it is, and it's going to connect almost everything on this list. The question is, am I paying for food, or am I paying for a step? A step like chopping, portioning, mixing, bottling, branding, dressing it up so it looks premium. If you're paying mostly for the step, you can almost always save money by doing the step yourself. And the next category is the one that steals people's mornings. Ninth, energy drinks and fancy coffee. Picture a normal weekday. You're dragging. You grab an energy drink, then you grab a fancy coffee because you feel like you deserve it. Honestly, you probably do deserve a treat. Life's tiring. But here's the math that made me pause. If you spend $8.50 on an energy drink plus a coffee 3 times a week, that's $25.50 a week. Over a year, that's $1,326. That's not a moral failure, that's just a big leak. Now for the health side, carefully said. Some energy drinks, especially the larger ones, can contain a lot of sugar. In some cases, up to around 75 to 80 grams in a large can. The American Heart Association recommends keeping added sugar under about 25 grams a day for women and 36 grams a day for men. So the fix I like is not never have caffeine. It's make caffeine cheaper and calmer. Make coffee at home most days. Cold brew is almost embarrassingly easy. Grounds, water, fridge, done. If you still want the store coffee, keep it as an actual treat, not a daily habit disguised as self-care, because the grocery store has another daily habit, trap, and it looks healthy. 10th, bagged salad kits. I'm not talking about a plain head of lettuce. I'm talking about the bagged kits with toppings, dressing packets, crunchy bits, and a price tag that makes you blink. They're convenient, yes, but they often cost way more per serving than building the same salad yourself, and they can go slimy fast, which turns into waste fast. If you want the convenience without the constant spoilage, do this. Buy a few sturdy salad ingredients that last. Cabbage mix, carrots, cucumbers, a bag of spinach you'll actually use. Then pick 1 or 2 dressings you like and use sparingly. Add protein from leftovers, eggs, beans, or canned tuna. It's not glamorous, but it's reliable. Reliable wins. Now we're in the dairy aisle, and this one hits a lot of people because it feels like it should be the smart option. 11th, individual yogurt cups. They're easy, they're portioned, they feel controlled, but per ounce, they're usually more expensive than a big tub, sometimes a lot more expensive. If you eat yogurt regularly, the cheapest move is usually buying a larger container and portioning it into small jars yourself. You can even make it feel fancy. Add berries, cinnamon, a little honey if you want. Now it's a grab-and-go snack without the premium price tag and without a pile of plastic cups. And now we're here. The one I teased in the intro. The item that looks like it has a halo. 12th, specialty diet foods with trendy labels. Keto cookies, paleo crackers, Whole30 marinara, protein brownie bites, clean snacks that cost twice what they should. I'm going to say this plainly. Most of these products are ordinary food wearing a costume. Sometimes they're useful for a specific person with a specific goal, but for many people, they're a budget trap, because you do not need a special labeled product to eat in a way that supports your health. If you're eating lower carb, you can either buy eggs, meat, fish, vegetables, yogurt, nuts, cheese, and berries. Normal foods. If you're trying to avoid certain ingredients, you can read labels and keep it simple. The store would love you to believe you need a $12 box of approved snacks to be healthy. You don't. Here's the habit that saves money and keeps you sane. Flip the package over and read the ingredient list. If it's basically the same as the cheaper version, you're paying for the label. If it's different and it's worth it to you, buy it on purpose. Not because the front of the box made you feel like you were failing. And that's the whole game right there. The store isn't selling you food. It's selling you shortcuts, comfort, identity, and good person points. So the next time you're shopping, try this. Ask the one question, am I paying for food or am I paying for a step? If it's a step, consider doing it yourself once a week. Not perfectly, just enough to plug the leaks. You want, tell me which one of these gets you the most, and I'll help you build a simple swap list that fits your routine. Next time, I'll break down the store layout tricks that push you toward the most expensive aisles, even when you swear you're just there for milk. Full disclaimer, this content is for general education and budget-friendly shopping ideas only. It is not medical advice, and it is not a substitute for care from your physician, dietitian, pharmacist, or other qualified clinician. Nutrition needs vary by person, especially with conditions like diabetes, kidney disease, heart disease, food allergies, or if you are pregnant or taking prescription medications. If you have health concerns or are making significant diet changes, talk with your clinician first.